Hi, welcome back to my channel. This is Katrina Sargent, or Devil Doll Custom Creation, and today we are going to do a non-glittered galaxy tumbler. I used alcohol inks in multiple shades. First, you're going to need a prepped painted black tumbler with some white burst around the middle area. I did add spray paint glow on top of the white, so it gives a glow later. Since you're going to be using so many makeup sponges, I recommend cutting them in half. Each color gets its own sponge, plus you have a sponge for alcohol to blend each color combo. Alcohol inks will get everywhere and stain your hands. I suggest wearing gloves. I like the look of having two different colors blending, so like a dark blue and a light blue mixing together to create a dark and a light purple, etc. I will be listing every alcohol ink I use in the description below. You see on my tumbler how my white burst on the tumbler kind of splattered further places than the center white. That is exactly what you want it to look like. All those you're going to fill in with colors, and it's going to make it look so awesome. I actually didn't end up using pearl on this, but I do end up using silver at the very end. You're going to need 91% alcohol. The pump is best, but you can use it in a spray bottle also to create looks. Make sure you shake up your alcohol inks. Like I said, each one is going to get its own sponge. Try to keep them separate. If you can keep it in your head as best possible, it's better to know which one you're grabbing. So I usually start the middle, the lightest color, and work my way out. You're going to be building and dabbing and patting a lot. The way I found it easiest is each color has its own sponge, and then I have a blending sponge, which I add the alcohol to. When you add alcohol to that blending sponge, make sure you kind of pat it on a paper towel, because if it has too much alcohol, it will take away your colors, right? So you're going to want to build these up slowly, adding a little color at a time till you get happy with the look. Remember, this is your tumbler. You're going to play around with it. You're going to like a certain look versus the ones I'm doing. When you're using your blending sponge, if you have heavier amount of alcohol on it and you slightly tap, you're going to get like a bubble effect in your inks. It looks really, really cool. Play around with that. Tap on it lighter, tap on it heavier to get those colors to blend the way you want. As I'm working my way out, I stick to my dark colors. I want it to fade into where the black spray paint was. This is where all that speckle comes in play, because you're going to see the dark blue only in the speckles really, and then it fades out to the black. Sometimes when I know my makeup sponge is full of colorant, but it's not coming off onto my tumbler as much as I like, I will add a little bit of alcohol, because there's still plenty of alcohol inks on that sponge. You just got to be careful that you're not going to remove any of your color that you work so hard to build. Play around with different color combos. You might find you don't like the soul blue. You want to add greens or maybe a teal to it. Just have fun while you're building it. This is a labor of love. It does take a long time, so dedicate some time before you even start. And if you get frustrated with the part, walk away. Come back to it. That's the best thing about alcohol inks. You can let them dry fully. You can keep adding more after. You can change it once they are fully dry if you don't like a look later. See here, I'm just adding some dark blue into my black to let it fade out more. I didn't want that one to be blue. I changed my mind, so I just went in with some purple. I actually went into dark purple first and then lightened up the middle as I kind of pushed my alcohol inks out with my blender sponge. Don't just stick with one shape as well. Don't just stick with complete circular, because the Galaxy is not like that. So I kind of tend to change shapes. So one might be circular, but one might be an oval. One might be a different shape later. I will change the inside to darker in areas to add contrast. And once you think you're finished with one area, you always can go back in and add a little bit more, take away a little bit more. I tend to kind of get them about 75% and then move on to the next area and then go back. I kind of do that because my brain works that way. If you want to solely work on one at a time until it is 100%, then do that. That is completely up to you. This one I wanted to do a really light blue, so I added a lot more alcohol onto my blender sponge. As you can see, around the whole thing looks more wet. That is because I added way more alcohol just to get a different look compared to my other ones. And the best way to kind of blend two shades is on your primary color sponge, add some alcohol so it kind of makes it soft again for you to be able to do stuff with, and then blend them together. Here I am just wanting a different dark area to the center, to the only small section, so I kind of just added some black, some dark blues, and I'm going to shade it in with some dark colors. This is just so it's not a big circle. Once I'm happy with the color saturation in my spots, I just kind of blend it in areas with tapping a sponge full of alcohol onto it to give it that speckled look around the edges. Okay, we are almost done now. So the last thing I do is I add a little bit of silver onto a sponge. Very little goes a long way. And I kind of just use it as highlights and to give it a breakup of the black versus the colors. You can add it into the middle of your spots. You can add it in only the black area. Play around with it and see what you like. If you are heavy-handed on areas and you don't like it, use alcohol to remove it. If you find a place that you just don't like what it did, you can add a little bit of black onto a sponge and darken that area back up. Be careful, that goes a long way. Your black can overtake your colors again, and then you have to do a lot more work. Now, once you have your inks the way you want, this is a milk paint white. You can use acrylic paint. It's your bristles that you're really going to want. So you need to have big bristles that you can flick the white paint onto your tumbler. It gives it the look of stars without using glitter. Just keep doing that around the tumbler. Change your angle to get different looks. The height versus how close you are to the tumbler. If you get a little heavy-handed and a big chunk falls on like that, it's okay. Just take a baby wipe and wipe it off. You might have to do a little bit of alcohol on that, but it wipes off. I let my inks dry a full 24 hours before I seal them slightly with clear spray paint, and then moving on to epoxy or Crystalac, whatever your preference is. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and if you have any questions, please write them in the comment section. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you are notified anytime I load new videos. I also have a Facebook group, facebook.com/DevilDoll Community. Thank you.